Looking for a place to call your own, where the sun shines bright and the seeds are sown. Portugal, it's the place to be. Join the community, come and see. Expats Portugal.
Well, hola, boa noite. How exciting in our new webinar format for the new year. Bom ano novo to you. Feliz ano novo. I hope you had a great break, festive period, and a very happy new year to you. Thank you for being here this evening for our webinar. What better way to start the year than to talk about moving to Portugal in 2026? Carolina Cunha is in the green room waiting to join us on screen after a little bit of an introduction, and Gilda, after a very busy day at the office, will be joining us as well. I think hot-footing it from the Algarve today. So we have Carolina, the A team from the A team, EI in Lisbon, our migration partners. They will be on the screen with you in just a moment. And as you can see, Kelly, good evening to you. Thank you very much. Our members in the webinar scenario, in the webinar lounge, as it were, able to ask questions and say hi, as Kelly has done there. Ola from New Hampshire, US as well. Look, 2 people from New Hampshire. Excellent. Jonathan, good to see you as well. So keep those comments coming in and questions. Astrid and Jerry behind the scenes, of course. And we will proceed then this evening. Tonight, we are joined by EI, the migration agency, They've been working directly with Portugal's immigration system for over a decade now and have supported applicants from all over the world from many, many different situations. Their experience means they understand the real complexities of moving to Portugal, including where applications often run into delays or complications and how processes actually work on a day-to-day level. That's exactly why we wanted them here this evening, to give you practical, up-to-date insight and guidance based on real-world experience and cut through all the noise that you'll see on social media. So joining me on the screen now, Carolina Cunha from EI. How are you doing?
Hi, hello. Such a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Carl.
My pleasure.
How are you today?
I'm very well. How was your Christmas? And a buon anno to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for you too and for everyone as well. Wish you a wonderful 2026, full of energy and successes and visas and all of it.
Yeah, and if it's your ambition to move to Portugal, of course, you're absolutely in the right place with Carolina and Gilda here this evening. And lovely to see all those hellos. Joanne, Todd, George, Denise, John, thank you all for saying hi. We will see your comments and your questions on the screen this evening. Let's get that conversation and my first question to you underway here, Carolina. How would you describe the current landscape? I mean, it's changed so much since my first conversations with Gilda 5 years ago, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. It's changed a lot. Can you take us through that? You know, what it's looking like now, and why is it important for applicants, for new applicants coming to Portugal, to understand this new context before they choose the visa route that is most appropriate for them?
Yeah, sure. So the visa world has been changing every year. It grows a little bit more in difficulty because there has been an increase of applicants. So the system, the slots, they end up shortening the window of opportunity. Nevertheless, if the person prepares themselves, we see no problems. Okay, so this is only problematic for unprepared and unstructured situations. So that's why we recommend to do things with time to spare. Start your research calmly a year or 6 months before. If possible, come to Portugal, enjoy the beaches, the mountains, check if this is really the best path. And once the decision is taken, we are happy to take it from there. But in my perspective for this 2026, I've seen already a few things change comparing to the previous years. So, for example, number one is the minimum wage went up. So this means that all the minimums are based on that established marker. So it was 2025 870 euros. Now for 2026 it is 920. So
Yeah.
it went up 50 euros. This means that for people that were right at the threshold, they need to increase their numbers a little bit, because this is eliminatory for people that don't reach the new minimum. Okay, so
Yes. Yeah. So a change there for sure, and that tends to happen every year anyway, doesn't it, with the minimum wage?
yes, normally it goes up between 20 euros or 50 euros. So for example, for people that I was speaking, from September onwards, I already informed them what was the provision of increase, so that for people that were creating their income for some reason, they had already that in mind when
Hmm.
calculating their minimums, or for the savings as well. So that is a very big change, that um, for people that are just looking up online, they just see a number, and the number varies because of this marker. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So that's a change, isn't it? I mean, and it's amazing to think years ago when I first was talking to Gilda, you could have an Airbnb booking, couldn't you, as your accommodation? It's
Yes.
different. And do you see these changes increasing year by year now, Carolina? Is that your suspicion?
Yes, that is my conclusion after working on this for 4 years now. I've seen, even if it's just the smallest of things, every year it goes up
Something different.
in difficulty, let's say. Sometimes they just want another document, sometimes they want to see the same document, but proof in some other way. So we since we have such a big volume of requests, we are able to in real time get updated from other people's processes. So if
Mhm.
that happens,
Of
we are
course.
able to act right
Yeah.
there and
Yeah.
then,
Yeah. Yeah.
and warn the next people, so that
Absolutely. Yeah. Your day-to-day
the
intelligence is being gathered, isn't it, across your whole team? That any changes that come in on the front line, they're being reported to your hive mind of your team, and then you can inform new people coming into the country. Now, of course, the other complexity will be the noise on social media, the misinformation. As things change, that all amplifies, double, and gets more and more confusing. I guess you see a
yeah,
lot of that as well, right? You're seeing people come to you saying, "Is it true that?" And it's like, "No, absolutely. Where did you hear that?" Social media.
yes,
Is that your experience?
yes, daily, 5 6 numerous times a day. So that
Yeah,
is crazy how the misinformation spreads. I would like for the information to spread that fast, comparing to the misinformation. My
yes,
takeaway here is for people to um, look for trustable sources, a
yes,
trusted professional, a government website. Don't
yes,
don't be looking at those forums of personal experiences like Facebook groups, or those that they have a lot of misinformation. People
yeah,
saying crazy stories based on their personal experience, but they were most likely not right. They were unprepared, and so other factors. But in that case, looking for trustworthy information is very crucial here, especially because this IMA situation, consulate situation, this changes very often. Okay,
yes,
so it happens on a month being away, and then a month and a half, 2 months after, there's already a slight difference. We see this like monthly with the renewals. We see
yeah,
this constant change, things that were not mandatory anymore to become mandatory again, things that changed now change again.
yeah, right.
Eh, so that's why sometimes we have to say, and then contact people again and then again, because things changed, and people that wrote those stories or those articles, they don't bother going there again.
That's right. They're
Because
there forever, aren't they? They're there forever on the internet. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So work
exactly.
with the professionals to get the most up-to-date information and understand the context. And then you choose the right route after you've understood the context and discussed your personal circumstances. That's a very important thing, a very important note tonight when it comes to getting the right route. There are things to talk about before you choose your visa, and we'll talk more about that. Anything else you want to say about the context, the history, before we move on?
Yes, I want to say also that for the digital nomads, the D8 visas, alongside with the D7 visas, those visas we will go into them more in depth along within our conversation. But just as a beginning note, they are very well established visas. So the D7 is older than the D8, but nowadays there are still gaps in especially the digital nomad visa situation, that the law is omissive. But now we've built the experience from 3 years working on it, which
Yeah.
was ever since it was invented, 2 years and a half, I think, to have the experience of in the field, knowing what will happen, what to do, and how to manage.
Very good, very good. Okay, so we've started talking about the D numbers. Let's get deeper into that. The favorite, the old fashioned D7, the new younger brother, the D8. Tell us about these routes, if you will. The D7, of course, known as the passive income or retirement visa, and again, it can become misleading, can't it? So, can you tell us about the most popular visa routes and decode those names, those numbers and letters for us?
Yes, of course. Well, let's begin with the umbrella category, which is the D category, which is residency visas. When you choose a visa that begins with a D, this means that it will be the path for you living in Portugal permanently. The other visas, the E's and the other categories, they are for different purposes, different situations. The long permanent life in Portugal is this one. And they've invented up to the D8, so there are eight, actually nine type of visas, but we will cover those more specifically, the favorite ones, as you said, here. So the D7 is still the classic favorite. So
Yes.
the passive income visa for people that have passive income are the obvious choice. So, and by passive income I mean pensions, public or private, annuities, rents, royalties, investments that are generating interest, business owners that are collecting dividends, all of that, as long as it's taxed as passive, it counts.
Yep.
And then on the younger brother, the D8 visa, which is the
Yeah.
younger one,
The new
it's
boy.
for exactly, it's for active income. So active income in its nature is income that you are directly working towards. So working people. So this can also be business owners, in depending how they pay themselves. But if they pay themselves a salary, that's fine. Or if they are an employee for someone else, if they are freelancers, active income, everything counts as well.
Right. Okay.
They are those two are the most famous paths here. And of course, the third one, which is the family accompanying visas, which piggybacks on the other ones for them to bring their family along. Those are here. That one does not have a D number, which I think it's sad, but I cannot make it up. So
Do we call that family reunification, generally speaking, or not? Is that
sorry,
something?
do we what? Pull?
What was the name you gave that third category?
The accompanying visas.
Accompanying visas. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. The D7, D8 and accompanying visas. Do we say anything about the D2, or is that something that is not very popular these days?
Yeah, the D2 is very popular. It's
Oh, okay.
there are a few types of D2. So within that category, there are subcategories. The
Right.
one that is most well known is the entrepreneurship visa, which is for people that want to create a business in Portugal. So they open a Portuguese company and establish their business in Portugal, create a business plan, and then apply for the visa based on that company. That one has been very famous along the years, but it's not constant. It's not a constant fame. So there are better years, not so good years. Currently, it's in vogue because there are a new tax benefit that you could align the Portuguese company to fulfill the requirements of the tax benefit. So this could be interesting for working people. So
Right.
for digital nomads that want to establish themselves in Portugal, or business owners that want to expand Portugal. So this could be something interesting, and we also definitely do.
Right. So to kind of summarize those, and there's a lot of information. You can rewatch this webinar, of course, but better still, make an appointment and chat as you get a sense of which one is going to be right for you. Book an appointment, get your discount, of course, with EI through Expats Portugal. And we'll point you in the right direction tonight. And there's a lot to remember. There's a lot of information, and EI will take you through the specifics of eligibility. But is there anything else you want to say about the criteria for each of those? The D7 being, roughly speaking, the retirement passive income visa, the D8 being the trendy digital nomad visa, and the D2 being more the kind of business company entrepreneurial one. Anything else you want to add about those and how to qualify for them, or should we move on to how people tend to stall and the pitfalls that people have with those particular visas?
Yeah, I can go into them individually so that
Sure. Okay,
later
that's great.
the connection to the pitfalls is clearer.
Excellent. Okay, yeah,
Um,
let's do that.
yeah, so I will explain briefly, uh, so that the specifics to that visa are more highlighted rather than the similar to everyone.
Okay.
For the D7 visa, it is the passive income, as I said, at a minimum wage, with the minimum wage or as a minimum, so 920 euros. It can be in any currency as long as converted to euros is that at least that amount. Then we need to, of course, we always need to be able to map out the money entering the the personal bank account, and of course savings. This is cumulative, okay? Passive income and savings. The savings need to be of at least 12 months worth of the Portuguese minimum wage. So 920 times 12, it's around 11,000. Let's say that. Then for the D8 visa, the requirements are different. They are active income. So the income itself needs to be the minimum wage times 4. So around 3,680 euros. For the savings, that is also, the person also needs to present the same amount of savings. So the 1 year worth of the minimum wage, so 920 times 12. And that for the digital nomad adds on proof of their relationship to their employer. If they have business owners, if they are business owners, the paperwork for that, and to prove where is their tax domicile. And yeah, that is pretty much the situation.
Okay,
Something
excellent.
that is transversal to both is the housing. So the 1 year rental agreement properly done, so registered in the Portuguese tax office. Some landlords don't want to do it. They want to save those 20 something percent, but the person really needs it to be properly done. So find a landlord that is
Yeah, doing it the right way.
aligned,
Yes.
yeah, with the law. Um, that is very important. And then the NIF and the Portuguese bank account, that is very important as well. The NIF is the Portuguese number on the Portuguese tax office, so that is very important. For the D7 is required for the visa. For the D8 is not required but is recommended, because I've seen consulates ask for it. And the Portuguese bank account as well.
Yeah.
Opening it, it's possible to do it remotely. We help people doing it every day, and to make sure they have both things in place before they apply.
Hmm. Great. Okay. Anything else you want to add about the criteria? Perhaps we shouldn't deep dive too much into that, but that's pretty good. I mean, is there anything
Yeah.
else to say about D8 possibly? I think we've
No,
covered it, haven't
that
you?
is just that is the summarized version.
Yes, right. So the following on from that, where does it tend to go wrong for people with these criteria? Where do you see the most pushback for people?
Well, in my experience, people tend to underestimate the requirements. So everything is adding on, and they think it's their choice, this one or that one. No, it's both.
Yes,
So people come to me, some people come to me only when the situation has gone wrong, and sometimes they don't even tell me what it is. I just look at the process, and I know,
you should know.
because
Yeah.
something crucial is missing, either because they didn't know, they or they thought they knew better, and they were like, oh, that's not reasonable, but it's required. So even if common sense would say that is not reasonable, you have to present. Like, some people would say that having the rental agreement in place is not reasonable. I agree with them, probably it's not reasonable, but if they don't have it, the application gets denied. So take the requirements as take them seriously. So,
Yeah.
and also some people think that because they have some type of financial comfort in a big way, that is enough. The savings alone is enough. No, it isn't. You see, I always said some type of income and savings.
Yes.
I never said just savings. I've
Yes.
seen processes be denied just because rich people presented just the savings. Okay, but the Portuguese government established rules, and you must comply with the rules.
Yeah.
That's why I offer suggestions on people. Well, if you have that financial availability, I would suggest, what if you purchase an annuity? Or what if you change your speak with your accountant in your home country, and instead of paying yourself in one way, do the other way? And sometimes, and most times, it ends up working out. So
Yes, a great point from LaRonda on that note. Take the requirements as requirements. You can't make it up and do it according to how you think it should be done. As you say, Carolina, the government has its requirements, its specification, and those are best met for the best outcomes. That's why they're called
yeah.
requirements. Thank you, LaRonda. Good to see you here this evening. Anything else then on pitfalls and what can go wrong, the things you see? Or should we move on to timescales and talk about, how and when people should talk to you and kind of walk us through the process, if you don't mind, for those who don't know anything about it?
Yeah, we can move on to the timeline. I think that's
Do
very
that.
crucial to to spare a little bit of time there as well.
Okay. How soon to get in touch with you? How far out from the ideal time of having your first pastel de nata in Lisbon?
Well, in an ideal world, the best is always when people reach out preventively, like a year before. That way, I have full freedom to help them see if their financials um, adjust, or if they don't, to help give the people the tools so that they can move around, um, speak with their financial advisors, well, plan accordingly. That gives them time to do it.
Mhm.
And then I am able to map out a stress-free journey, because I am able to align the person's expectations to the
Yep.
reality of Portuguese bureaucracy.
Mm.
So, yeah, 6 months to a year in an ideal world.
Okay. Okay. That's a
Um,
really beautiful way of putting it. People's ideal outcomes and the Portuguese bureaucracy. How to match those and marry those together.
yeah,
Beauty and the Beast.
99% of time they are not facing one another. They are in different
Yes.
continents, really.
But
So,
you're the matchmaker, aren't you? You're the matchmaker bringing that together to make that relationship
yeah.
work. Excellent. Excellent.
Sometimes it's sad because I have to bring their hopes and dreams, like, oh,
Yeah,
calm.
but that's what you do, right? Managing people's expectations to get the right result.
Yes, yes, of course, yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
that would be the first ideal step.
Yep.
Then on that meeting, I am able to map out that journey. But I would say at least 6 months to 8 months before the person actually wanting to be in Portugal, it's when it's time to begin.
Yes.
Okay. The planning side, we already spoke about it, but then I always suggest to begin with the Portuguese documentation first, so the NIF, and afterwards the Portuguese bank account. Both services are perfectly doable remotely from the applicant's home country, wherever the person is, but it will require of them a trip to a local notary to have their signature on the paperwork certified, because it's required. But we can handle all of it as well. That can take 2 to 3 months. The both things, the NIF and the bank account. Um, the following step is to depending on where the person is applying from, so to get an appointment to apply for their visa. In most countries, it's the Portuguese consulates or embassies, they sub-hire an entity called VFS
Mhm.
Global.
Yeah.
Some other, even in the same country, some consulates deal with the applicants directly. Example, in the US, the Portuguese consulate in Washington, D.C., they sub-hire VFS. The Portuguese consulate in Boston, they do it directly. Okay.
Mhm.
Different ways of working, different everything. Okay. Different, not requirements. The requirements base are the same, but the procedure itself, it's very different. And very in differs the timing as well. Normally, when dealing with VFS, things are slower and tend to be less simple. Let's say that. But I would say around 2 months to in advance to schedule the appointment in VFS. A month normally to schedule it at the consulate,
Okay.
if done directly from the consulate. Um, those 2 months, even though they seem like a long time, they are actually a good time window for the person to get their life sorted, so that they can I mean it, so that they can
No,
get their
I'm laughing
paperwork.
because it's true. It's funny because it's true. I mean, there's so much to take care of, isn't there?
Yeah, so much. And prepare the paperwork slash arranging your whole life. So it's it's when I say 2 months, it's like, oh, so much. It's not that much. So 2 months to have the process together, and yeah. After that, the appointment itself, the person submits the application. After submission, normally takes 2 to 3 months to get an approval. That this is varies as well depending on the countries. This is like an average on for American consulates. If it is, for example, in the UK, it does not take as much. Normally a month and a half, and the person has their approval. Australia as well, 2 months, normally not much more than that. So in the US, it's actually one of quite delayed. But comparing to the Middle Eastern ones, it's fast. So it's
Right.
always different. After getting the approval, the person will receive the visa itself, which is going to be a sticker which will occupy a full page of their passport. The visa itself will come with a 4 month time window and their IMA appointment. The 4 month time window is literally printed the beginning date and the finish date, and the IMA appointment is assigned to the person and comes printed on the visa as well through a link format. This happens, the IMA appointment happens 90% of cases, but there are those 10% that don't get the IMA appointment assigned to them, but the IMA created a portal that it is nowadays possible to submit the passport information, and IMA assigns them an appointment. And this platform has been working very well. Okay,
Excellent.
so I've just submitted a real example. I've submitted a request for a couple. I submitted it last week, I think on the second day, January 2nd, and today I got it. The appointments, one for February and the other one for April. So it a week to get an appointment assigned. That's incredible.
That's
So
great. Good
that
work.
plat-
Yeah, excellent.
yeah, that platform has been working very well.
Very good to know.
So this to say that if the person's visa does not come with an appointment, do not stress about it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
very easy to resolve.
Okay. You've got the know-how for that. Brilliant.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then the next step is to attend the actual IMA appointment. It should be within the 4 month visa window, but not always. So it can be after that. And after attending the appointment, normally between a month to 6 months to get the card. You also never know. It's like a Russian roulette. Which one will be you? Will you wait a long time? Will you not? So, yeah,
There really is no way of knowing, is there?
yeah, exactly. No, not really. It's the best the person can do is make sure they do their best by. I always suggest hiring a professional that they trust, so that even if it's taking long, they know it's the services delay, not something missing from their side, because
Yes.
that
Yes.
also
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Right.
Something's being missing, and the services don't tell you. They just hope you dream about it and know. So, yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
Anything else
Then
on the timeline before we go back to some of the problems that can occur?
Yeah, just that after you get your permit, it will be valid. Not if you do a D-type visa, it will be valid for 2 years. After those 2 years pass, you are able to renew it for 3 years, and that 3 year one you can keep renew for as long as you maintain requirements, or even if you change requirements but you are able to switch categories, that is also fine. So yeah, and no debts to
Very
the
good.
tax authorities, nor social security, nor
Yes.
crimes, no committing crimes.
No crimes, please. Okay, very good. Just worth saying anyway. Right. So, are there particular things where people fail and stall with this? You know, in terms of timing or complications. What are the most common mistakes you see that people end up struggling with?
Well, the number one, I would say, it is unclear financials. So
Hmm.
when they present their financial situation, they themselves are American, British, Australian, whatever nationality, and they look at them and they find it very easy, very, oh, this is obvious. And they just submit it as is. But who's going to read it? It's going to be a Portuguese officer.
Yeah.
So we always do this gymnastics of looking at the foreign document, and even we translate it, of course, for when we explain it in our exposure of motives, but we try and make the mirror as if it was in Portugal. How would that be called? How would that be categorized?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that when the analyzing officer looks at it, is able to go through it much faster and understand it more easily, because the hard part we did it for them, which is converting it to how, in a way, to put it in words that they will get it, to look at the Portuguese law and say this is that. So that makes things a whole lot easier, comparing to when people just presented a pile of paper, like 100-page bank statement. Yeah, sort it out. The
Yeah,
consulate
that's
is
not
like,
fair. You've got to make it
no.
as easy as possible and culturally appropriate is what I'm taking from that, Carolina. Okay, and
Yeah,
that's with it all at all levels, not just the financials, but that's the biggest howler, is it? That's the biggest problem, generally speaking, is financial or lack of financial clarity. Anything else?
I also would like to add, for there are some sources of income that are very new, or that a consulate or embassy has never come across. For
Mm.
example, royalties or
Or crypto?
crypto, that is
Yes.
very recent.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
when a person has a very new, something very different from what they are used to, sometimes they tend to reject newness.
Yeah.
So we end up to be extra cautious on those situations, and to avoid it, we explain it further and clearer and simpler, so that that does not happen.
Very good. So anything novel or that the authorities here might not have dealt with, EI will help you explain that and put it into a context that's more easily accepted and not quickly rejected. I mean, that's a problem, isn't it? It might be that they see things they don't understand and just reject on that basis. Looking at it from another point of view, Carolina, and thank you for being here tonight. It's excellent information. Gilda will be joining us soon. We've got lots of questions to get through as well. Thank you, everybody in our webinar audience of our premium members. Thank you tonight for being here and asking all those wonderful questions, which I'm stacking up to ask Carolina and Gilda. But you are dealing with IMA every day and VFS offices, your team are. And for the client, they only have one experience of this. You have many. What are you seeing from the point of view of the IMA organization? I mean, they've had a terrible few years, haven't they? And it's been very intense in the last year, the last couple of years of reorganization and then sort of reorganization and all sorts of things going on. What's your observation from that point of view of how things are inside the organization?
Well, without compromising myself,
Yes, please.
I would because I have to deal with them, so
Of
I
course,
cannot.
of course. I mean, on a human level, you know, on a I'm
Yeah,
not asking you. I'm
sure.
not asking you to criticize. It's really
No, no,
what's going on for
I
them as
got it.
human beings. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I would say that each IMA and each consulate, they work as if they were a kingdom. Like, even though the rule is the same for everyone, they they do as they see fit.
hmm
They That set of workers or that set of officers do it in a very personalized way, which
okay,
is typical because it's one law. So not one, it's actually a few laws that we have to conjugate and extract an interpretation. But
yes,
that each team, if it's on in the Algarve, they do it in a one way. If it's in
okay,
Lisbon, they do it a different way. In the north, a different way. So we end up uh, at the beginning, I think we tried to fight them,
right,
like, no, it should be the same. But then what do we want? We want results. Okay, so in order to deliver results, we end up molding ourselves to the difficulties and to their own quirkiness, and just give them what they want,
yeah,
unless is of course a obscene unfairness. In that way, we of course fight it. But
yeah.
normally, if we just preventively do what they ask, and things run so much smoother.
Okay, so some adaptation and pragmatism, unless it's really outrageous, and then you'll challenge it according to the law. Very interesting to know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm aware that we've got a lot of questions, and we're taking your time, and you've been very generous with it. Let me just ask you then. I mean, clearly, people need professional help with this, or it really helps to have some professional help for all the reasons you've given. Where do you think you make the biggest difference in the process as a professional company, as a professional service provider in this way?
Well, I would say in step zero, so the planning,
Yeah,
the strategizing, the helping map out everything, even to the point of how will the person manage their current existing situation to be able to, in X amount of months, be in Portugal? Do they have to sell their house when it's the best time? Do
hmm
they have to get their dog vaccinated? Do they have to prepare their family? Everything. So what is the timings that they must fulfill to comply with rules, so that they can organize the next time they go back to see their elderly parents? So
yeah, right.
in my opinion, step zero is crucial. Then of course later on, I think it takes on off the stress about it, about you not knowing, or you having to trust um random sources online. With us, you have us telling you, because we do it in quantity, in quality, of course, to have a base for what we are saying. So that is another step that I think it's also very important for the IMA appointment as well. Most people don't speak Portuguese fluently, at least when they attend their IMA appointment, and not all immigration officers working at IMA speak an understandable English.
Yeah.
Um, so it's always very, very important to have someone by their side that speaks both tongues, and it's a lawyer, so that if something happens, they understand that it's happening, but also can intervene and
Yes, yes, that's very
play
reassuring.
as their
Well, advocate, right?
supporter.
Yes.
An advocate, exactly.
Yes, yeah, brilliant. In what can be a very stressful situation, obviously, to have that support there. Okay, final question then of mine, because we've got many questions from our audience here. Sign up for the webinars at expatsportugal.com, and of course, we'll be prioritizing the questions of our members who are joining us on the webinar link tonight. And thank you, everybody, for coping pretty well with the change. I think this is better in terms of presentation and the service we can offer you this evening. So thank you for making the change with us. Those of you who've been with us for a while as members, thank you very much for being here and your cooperation and support and helping each other behind the scenes, as I can see. Gilda standing by for the Q&A. But just finally from you, and between you and I here, Carolina, maybe your sort of nuggets of advice, one great piece of advice or a couple on what to do for people who are wanting to make the move to Portugal this year. And there are many of them, of course. The interest remains high. People have motivation is high as well. People are very interested in Portugal, want to come here. What's your big piece of advice to those people considering Portugal this year, whether they've just started to get interested or maybe a little bit of a way into the process? Your top nugget of advice to them.
I would say to, well, I don't know if I'm a very type A person, so of course my advice will be to organize.
Well, get on with it. Get on with it.
Yes, and map out you have to be able to map out the full plan by yourself. And in order to get to that, it's like you have to study to be able to be knowledgeable, to have that information by your side. So I would say to read as much as you can from trustworthy sources, speak with a professional. I suggest that you have to trust them. You have to your souls have to cross. It's like a Portuguese. I'm literally translating a Portuguese saying.
What is it in Portuguese? Please tell us in Portuguese first of all.
It's like when your soul has to cross with someone's soul so that you can connect.
So the
almas
almas,
cruzam-se.
Almas cruzas. Okay. So when the souls connect, that's what to be looking out for.
Yeah.
You use your intuition as well as your intelligence. Yes, absolutely.
I'm totally a supporter of that. Sense what you feel
absolutely.
about the situation. A lot of people are very rational, like, oh, I want to see what is the best city for me. If you get a feel for it, sometimes it's so much easier because you will adjust. You will look at the landscape, you'll look at the environment, and that will save you also a lot of time.
And you'll be becoming Portuguese. This is a feeling country, is it not? As well as the rationality, learn to be Portuguese about it and feel your way into it. So basically get informed and get support, I think, to crystallize what you're saying there. And you're in the right place for that, for sure, this evening. Your information's amazing. It can be watched again, of course, in the recording. And there's a chance for questions now as well. So it's my pleasure to bring Gilda onto the screen, who's been working all day and now joining us this evening. So Gilda Pereira, the founder of the company. Let me just put you up there, Gilda. Olá, boa noite, tudo bem?
Olá, boa noite. How are you?
Good. I'm very well, thank you. How's your day been? You've been on the front line dealing with
I was. Yeah, 7 hours.
7 hours. Thank you so much, Gilda, for being here with us. Much appreciated. Right, let's get straight into those questions. And thanks again, Carolina. Great job tonight. The first question that came in, thank you to Magari, possibly Mark, Jonathan, James, Joy, Chris, Olivia, Joanne, and LaRonda, at least, and Chelsea, and for your questions. We'll get to all of those now. Is that minimum income or gross or net in the calculations?
All the income is gross.
Very
good.
That's
there's a nuance here.
Sorry.
Depending on the type of visa, for example, the British consulates, the Portuguese consulates in the UK, for the digital nomads, they require the amount to be liquid. So you see here, for that is just an example.
Yes.
There might be room for small adaptations depending on the place that the person is applying from. That is
Okay.
something that if we don't do normally, we always check beforehand to make sure that the person is not doing everything in vain.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were saying this before, weren't you? You know the quirks of the various offices around the world, and you can adapt accordingly. So there you go, Magari, on that. It is gross there. Why is there a recommendation to put in more than the minimum? This is an EIA thing, isn't it? To be belt and braces about this and to go in on the conservative estimate rather than taking any chances. Does it make some difference in the approval? What do you say about that for Mark?
Well, technically, the consulate cannot reject if it's reaching the minimum wage, but they can inquire the person. For example, if the person presents a rental agreement of, let's say, 2,000 euros, but then presents income of 920, the math ain't mathing. So it's how.
Yes.
They could ask for how do you plan on paying this. Sometimes the person has more than just passive income. They have also active income. They have multiple sources.
Mm,
So when, even if it's not stated, it's easy to understand when looking at their financials, um, on how to understand the how will they face those expenses. So yeah, that is one side of things. The other is if the person already puts more than the minimum, when it's time for renewal, the minimum will go up. So 2 years later, when it's time to renew, the minimum most likely will have gone up by 100 euros, by my provision
yeah.
expectation.
Expectation, yeah.
Um, in this case, if the person had already before put the amount slightly more, a little bit above, they won't have to worry about changing it in time to comply with the rules for renewal.
Yep. Always love that about how you approach this. So erring on the side of caution for sure. Why cause unnecessary problems? There you go, Mark. That was for you. I'm going to hide behind this question. It's 3 questions from Jonathan. Good evening to you. I would like to ask 3 questions about the IMA appointments. 1, does IMA have a standard amount of notice prior to an appointment? Let's take them one by one then. Does it?
No.
Okay, that's fairly
I've had
straightforward.
we've had appointments to be being scheduled one day, like a Friday to a Monday, or on a Monday to a Thursday of that
Wow.
same week.
Okay.
So it's not common, but it happens.
The standard you could say is random, if that's not a contradiction. Okay, so number 2, do cancellation appointments come up at short notice, and is there a process for getting on a short notice list? That's a great idea, but is it possible? A
Uh,
cancellation list?
Not really.
No, I didn't think
No,
so.
the,
Okay.
the 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 portal does not, it is not that advanced.
No,
So
right. God, they could
yeah,
auction them
but
off, but that's not happening. That's not happening. Right. Okay. Is it possible to inform IMA that we will take an appointment in Portugal in any location, literally anywhere? Well, they'll just send you anywhere anyway, won't they?
yeah, they are
Yeah.
already not thinking to put you very locally. So
Right.
that
It's a
is
nice
already
thought.
on their mind. So, but as I was telling you a little bit ago, the portal of IMA has been working very well.
Yeah.
So when submitting an appointment request and being granted, it has been fairly fast. So um, I don't foresee it going bad, since it has improved.
Yeah.
So hopefully that resolves it.
Very good. Okay. Good to hear that, by the way. There you go, Jonathan. For Jaime, Gracia, it feels like I have a better chance of winning the Powerball lottery than getting a D7 appointment at the VFS Washington. You're not the first to say that. And there's maybe worth doing the Powerball lottery on that basis there, Jaime. Can you help with that? Can you help people move more quickly?
In this case, I agree with this metaphor. It's true.
Because of what?
That the VFS from Washington DC Center, it's like crazy busy. They release slots. It's like the one that releases is the rarest. So
Okay.
I feel this person's struggle, and what we do is we work alongside so that we can we are on a different time zone, so sometimes we are able to see that the slots release first,
Oh,
but
okay.
also sometimes
Right.
other times they do it on the American time zone. I'm assuming this is an American question because that his name is familiar. So I think it's VFS US. So they normally also release it on their time zone. So we work alongside. We see the appointments availability every day. When they open, we either book it for the person or let them know, so that they, as soon as they wake up, they do it right away.
Very good. So yes, the answer to that then, Jaime. EI can help you, and I'm still very self-conscious. It's meant to be pronounced A, isn't it? But for us foreigners, EI. I'll go with that mainly. Joy, Jaime, that was the answer to your question. Now to Joy. My housing will be hosted by friends living in Portugal. I have a Portuguese attorney who will provide the letter confirming this arrangement. Is there anything else I will need to provide, and can you help with that?
Yes, we do this all the time. I believe this situation is their friends. There are a few possibilities here. So their friends are allowing her to stay.
Yes.
There are not a pile, but a few documents that both her and her friends need to fill out,
It's
and
one of the
we do
things that's
assist with
changed,
that.
isn't it? Because I think since things have got tougher, they want to make sure this is an actual.
Yes, I'm sorry to jump in.
Go ahead.
Hi, Joy. My first question is, why aren't we your attorneys?
Yes, obviously.
No, but besides that, if you want, I don't know what kind of paper is the attorney preparing for this arrangement, and what is the purpose of this letter. So if you want more details, you can always drop us an email and we see the situation, and then we let you know if we can help you and what other documents you will need to provide.
Thank you, Gilda, on that. And there you go, Joy. Let's go to Chris now. With golden visas, I think probably best to drop a line, admin@expatsportugal.com. We'll connect with you and answer that question. We're really talking about the D visas here tonight.
Yeah, but
Chris.
I can answer. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Gilda, please do.
Investing in golden visas fund investment option. Yes. Yes, of course.
It tends to be the way the golden visa works now, through an investment fund, doesn't it? Yeah,
and now there are new funds. This is very new. It has been released like 3 months ago, that you are some funds that accept your investments from the IRA and 401k.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. All right, there you go, Chris. A great answer from Gilda for you there, hot off the press. Olivia, now, is the IMA appointment the same as the biometrics appointment, or are these two different steps of the residency process? Let's go back to you, Carolina, for that.
It's the same thing. The purpose of that appointment is deliver paperwork, take the biometrics, so photo, fingerprints, signature, payment for the card, and yeah.
There you go. I did. Talking of payment, I did see the IMA income. The balance sheet's looking pretty good, isn't it? IMA had a pretty good year in 2025. I saw those figures. So there you go. Yes, the answer to your question. Something I haven't heard very much tonight is it depends, but who knows? Let's see. I had an
It
appointment.
depends on the consulate. It depends on the IMA office.
Yeah,
What else do you want?
Okay, you're right. I had an appointment assigned on my visa, says Joanne, but it's been changed 4 times now. A different city. I mean, that's there's not a lot we can do about that, is there? But it's an interesting point to make and share with us, Joanne. That is what can happen, and that refers back to Jonathan's question as well. That is. I mean, it's a good way of discovering Portugal, but it's a very unfortunate way that people get treated with that.
I'm sorry, Joanne. I'm going to ask you something. I'm a little bit nervous with IMA today. I don't know if you can tell that, but I'm collecting proofs of things that IMA is not doing correctly. So if you don't mind to send me these appointments that were rescheduled, it would be a good subject to bring to the table also.
Yes, there you go. Well, I imagine you won't struggle to get such information, but that's a direct invitation there. Thank you very much, Gilda. Laronda, the issue with having the requirements met is that each VFS location, yeah, and you mentioned this, of course, Carolina, they have their own local culture, don't they? Individual culture. Some want what's required and more. Some will say something is that clearly required. It isn't needed. Some are flexible with the requirements. It's no wonder people get confused. Good point there. Question, Carolina, what is, from Chelsea here, what is the requirement for funding the Portuguese bank account for the D7 application, which you covered, of course?
For the funding, I believe the person is meaning the minimum, correct?
I think so, yes. Or it might be to do with timing. Let's see. Chelsea can get back to us on that. We've still got more questions piling in the live chat here. While theoretically the IMA appointment should be within 120 days of the D7 visa, but in reality, what is your experience of the real timeline? That's a good question.
It's unpredictable. Some people is within, they are scheduled within the 120 days, but for this year's appointments, 2026, we've seen them to do it after. Okay, yes. So I believe it varies. Last year it was very consistent within the 4 months or sometimes on the 5th, but this year not so much. So a little bit more delayed. I'm currently is very understaffed and undergoing a lot of problems. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I hope that helps there. More of the questions, and we will have to, we've got the Dream Team session at 9. We'll get to as many of these as we possibly can, and there's some great compliments for you, as there should be here, Carolina and Gilda, this evening. Chelsea, we've done that question. With Olivia's here, I have a GV, Golden Visa application, expecting our first appointment, and 7 months after submission for primary applicant only. We didn't expect this. Typically, will the dependents on the application be called to Portugal for biometrics all at once or soon after? Or should we expect another longer wait? How is it with Golden? Are we coming back to you, Gilda, on that? How is it with Golden Visa clients? Do they get called randomly, or can people come together?
What happens usually is that you submit the main application, okay, and then when it's pre-approved, you submit the other members' applications. But usually for the biometrics appointments, they call everyone at the same time. Usually.
Okay, usually, yeah, okay. So good to know there. Thank you for that question. Valerie, agree that each consulate works very differently. I had my IMA in Faro September, not the easiest. My husband had his in Aveiro, and very different a week later. He has since received his residency card 4 months later, but I'm still waiting. Thankfully, we were able to travel on the IMA receipts. And this is the sort of intel you get from the members as well. Expats Portugal premium members will gladly chat with you about their experiences from member to member. It's really useful information. And of course, don't forget to ask questions on our forum as well. John, thank you for that, Valerie. John, my wife and I are hoping to move to Portugal in 5 years. My wife is Portuguese by descent and is currently working on getting her Portuguese passport. How does that change our requirements for living in Portugal? That's
Well,
true.
that will make things much easier
Yes.
because
Yeah.
this person will not need to do a visa. So the process will be different. It will be called family reunification, assuming his wife is able to properly obtain the Portuguese citizenship and everything is in order. She gets a passport, and then in the John's process will be done directly in Portugal, at least as the law is as of today. It would be done everything in Portugal. We are happy to assist with that. It is much easier comparing to a visa, okay? Because as a spouse to a Portuguese citizen, it is considered a priority in reuniting to a European Union family member. So a much bigger priority is given comparing to just the person being American.
Very good. Good news.
I just need to put some note here, because I know that we have clients that are from European countries and they are waiting for the reunification appointment under the Article 15, and it has not been as easy as it should. And it's not as easy as the appointments that Carolina was talking about when you come with a visa without an appointment. So there is a line. In theory, it should be faster, but nowadays in practice, it's taking longer.
Yeah, so in theory, it should be easier, but as it's working out, perhaps not so much. But encouraging, I think, for you there, John. A great question from James. I understand that a health insurance is requested for the IMA appointment, and I'm sure you mentioned that before, Carolina, but can you confirm on that?
Yes, it is. I confirm.
There you go. And Nuno, of course, from Winsurance can help you out with that, who you can find in the business directory of Expats Portugal. I'm actually going to put a QR code, top left-hand corner. That's the business directory. Find EIA. These wonderful women you see on the screen can be found, and the company can be found there, along with all the other companies who we work with, some of which you'll see on the next Dream Team session starting in about 20 minutes from now. Let's see if we can get through these questions, because I imagine you need some dinner or a gin and tonic. Gilda looks like she needs a gin and tonic this evening. So let's get through these, help as many people as possible, and then let you conclude your day.
By the way, it has been a long time since I don't receive a gin and tonic bottle.
Okay, by the way, public service announcement. Okay, let's see if we can put that right, folks. Carolina, great presentation, very informative. Will a statement from the US Social Security Administration with our monthly income suffice for an income statement? Is that okay for Joanne?
Yes, that suffices, but alongside with the bank statements, so that cross-reference can be done. So source, and then the money falling into your personal bank account, and on the motivation letter explaining this.
Okay, very good. There's the link for the Town Hall Dream Team session. That is on Zoom. As you will see there. LaRonda appreciating the comment about the math. That ain't mathing. Okay, it took me a few months to get an appointment in DC. Worst is that I lived in Florida and absolutely could not get one in Miami, and they didn't take walk-ins. Incredible, isn't it? You're here now, Debbie. Happy New Year to you. Please drop Carolina's and Gilda's email address in the chat. Thank you. Find them in the business directory. QR code, also top left-hand corner of your screen. Eric, do you find different visa approval and scheduling timelines across different types, D2, D3 versus D7, D8, Carolina?
For the appointment scheduling, no, because the consulate, the embassy does not know what are you going to present.
Yeah.
But for the processing times, yes. Well,
Okay.
by law, there is a 60-day estimated period time, which almost never it's done. So, except for the UK, normally they fulfill it. The other countries don't, and normally D3 visas are a little faster because of being work visas and they are expedited. The other ones, 3 months, it's the average.
There you go, Eric. Fianchetto, are any changes being considered for the D7 visa requirements this year? For example, the minimum monthly passive income requirement, the minimum amount of money that must be held. I mean, you mentioned this, didn't you, in relation to the minimum wage? So yes, on
Yes,
that.
yes to both.
Okay, thank you. There's an email address for Carolina, and for the Golden Visa Curious in the US, I've talked with Ira Financial about how to invest in Portuguese funds via a self-directed Ira, thank you for that. Joy, I will be in touch, says Joy to you. And that was a very good point. There were so many. I don't know which one you're referring to, but we'll take that as well. And Joanne will be happy to share that experience, especially because I tried to change the first one and they said no. Then I spent 2K to fly back for an appointment. That's outrageous, isn't it? Denise, the problem is getting the Portuguese passport by descent. My application is now 3 years old. Just to give you an insight on that. That was for John,
Yes,
wasn't it?
but remember that they want to move in 5 years, so they will still
Yeah,
have
okay.
time.
Right.
Hope.
Yes,
Okay?
well said, well said. I agree. My wife, she said, Krish, good to see you. A buono to you. And I, a German citizen, received her EU certificate in citizenship in 15 minutes at our local flags here. We applied for residency for me through Article 15, and it took me over 2 years to get my residency, even though it was supposed to be a faster process. So good luck to you, says Jose Cruz there. Neil saying, thank you, Carolina. Excellent presentation. Glad we started the year yet. 5 years out. Good timing. Also, how and where I pay the visa tax before the IMA appointment. That's online, isn't it? Doable online? And perhaps you can help with that as well.
You'll pay the Portuguese public services twice.
Okay.
For the IMA, well, before that, for the visa, you'll pay the consular fee when you apply for the visa, and then that is around 100 euros in the local currency. Well, it went up this year, so around 120 euros in the local currency of that country. And then for the IMA appointment, on the day of the appointment, the person also has to pay the fee for submitting the process, which normally it's a little less than 200 euros, except for Brazilian citizens, which is half of that.
Okay, very good. Lucky Brazilians there. Gilles, that comment about Article 15 was so helpful because we've been waiting 7 weeks now for an appointment. We only have 10 weeks more in Portugal before we have to return to the US for a few months before we return to Portugal. It is stressful. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Jonathan.
Jonathan, I'm going to give you my direct contact, and you are going to deal with me because I need to guide you on this.
Okay, you do, right.
I need to guide you on this.
Great service.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, maybe you can expect the first bottle of gin from Jonathan then. I don't think that wasn't a hint. That was just a direct request, actually. Carolina, as you're the fountains of insight, muito obrigado, meninas, from, should say there. And stop it. Anyone who's talking about Puerto Rico in the chat is going to get banned, and that includes you as well. Okay, very good. Thank you so much to both of you. I think we've got to everybody's questions there. If you're a member and we haven't, drop us a line, admin@expatsportugal.com, and we'll make sure we do get anything you're concerned about addressed in the forum as well. And I can't answer the question about whether anyone from A will be with us in the Dream Team. I mean, they've worked so hard here this evening.
Only if Terrell asks us very much.
Well, it looks like that's happened. So maybe see you there, Gilda, and Carolina. Enjoy the rest of your evening. A well-deserved glass of Portuguese vinho tinto for you, if that's what you fancy. And another quick question: have there been changes in level of demand given the attempts to change the citizenship rules? Yeah. On that note, what has changed in terms? It hasn't really stopped people demanding to come to Portugal, has it? As far as I'm aware.
No.
No.
But what is happening? It's that now the law, the approval of the law was postponed, and everyone wants to try to put their citizenship application on time or before time, or everyone is going crazy with the citizenship. And they are
Yes.
correct, because they had this expectation when they came to Portugal or when they invested. So it's another mess, Portuguese
Yep.
mess.
Okay, top left-hand corner, another QR code. Clearly, Holborn are not the only people with fancy QR codes. We are as well. Look at that. There's the QR code for joining us. Become a member at Expats Portugal.
You are so technological in this
Thank
year.
you.
You began so many fancy stuff.
I'm going to take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, James, another one. What are the requirements if you bought a house before the appointment? Do you know what? Give them a call. Get in touch and ask that question directly, and the team will be very happy to help you with that.
Oh,
Jim.
I can help you with it.
Oh, she's so good. All right. What, now or not?
No, after. Okay. I can explain you what the requirements. You need a NIF, okay?
Yes.
And you can buy a house without having a residency permit, and then it will make it easier for you when you will apply for your visa and for your residency.
You'll be your own landlord at that point, and you'll be registered with Finances. There you go. Joanne has Gin. Please guide me. I have Gin.
And if you have already a house, if the consulate, when they are going to look at your process, they will see that you are really committed to come to Portugal because you already invested in the real estate here.
Very good. There you go. Yes, it would help, wouldn't it? Terrell, you were asking if she asked nicely. Well, there you go. And in Portuguese as well. Por favor.
Oh, thank you, Terrell.
Carolina, muito obrigado e boa noite. Bueno, thank you so much for kicking us off in this new style of webinar with incredible information and a great job this evening. Yeah, fancy new stuff. Okay, thank you
so much.
Well, to all of our audience, our webinar audience, with your fabulous input as well. We'll see you at the Dream Team session. Astrid, do you want to join us on screen? Is there anything to add? Hello, look, floating in the clouds there. Hi, Astrid. Oh no, okay, fair. No, there she is. And we need you unmuted as well. It's just like being on Zoom. There she is.
It's going on, but I'm loving this new format, and it's going to be great.
It is.
Across as well. So I love it how we can pop the questions up on screen and everybody can read them. I think it's going to be so much more friendlier. We will continue at this stage to use Zoom for our Premium Members Lounge and our Dream Team, the Town Hall. So please join us there. But like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or visit us on the website so you can actually be part of this as well. So we're really looking forward to a fantastic 2026.
Thank you, Astrid. Muito obrigado, Carolina. And até a próxima, Gilda. Thanks, everybody. And now the song, everyone. This will make Jerry happy. Ciao, ciao, boa noite, and we'll see you on the Dream Team session over on.
Looking for a place to call your own, where the sun shines bright and the seeds are sown. Portugal, it's the place to be. Join the